Today is a very special day. We are doing best of 3. Dun dun dun. I know, it's crazy. We never do best of 3 here, but I ended up donating a deck to Jeff Hoogland, only does best of 3, and I thought it would actually be really interesting to get a different perspective on the decks as far as somebody who's only playing best of 3 in the historic meta, because I have no idea what the historic meta is for best of 3. Obviously, I haven't even seen Nexus of Fate in like a year and a half. It's been so long. So it was interesting, and luckily we don't run into it that frequently, which you'll kind of see. I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of aggro because those are still really powerful right now in historic. But he's a great streamer, very professional. If you like the video, just make sure to follow him on Twitch. Also has a YouTube video, or a YouTube channel. Also has a YouTube channel, and very active on Twitter. All of his social media links will be down below.
All right. Yorion land destruction, chat. How do we kill lands in Standard? Well, there's 2 primary ways. The first is Star of Extinction here. Destroy target land. Star of Extinction deals 20 damage to each creature and Planeswalker. The second is Haphazard Bombardment. When this enters play, select 4 non-enchantment permanents you don't control and put aim counters on them. At the beginning of your end step, if 2 or more permanents don't have aim counters on them, destroy one of them at random. So Haphazard Bombardment is a triple Stone Rain over the course of a few turns. One of the other things that's really sweet about Haphazard Bombardment is that multiple bombardments work together. So after the first bombardment's destroyed 3 lands, you'll play the second one. The second one will then destroy 4 lands, assuming you pick 4 other lands. T-Master Ray, let's get you a sword to go with that shield. Thanks for keeping me around. Welcome back. So let's, we got a bunch of sweepers in here to try and stay alive. Let's play some games and see how it goes. I do this for you, chat. I'm doing this for you, okay? Hey, one man cold. Thanks for the quarter of I appreciate that. Welcome back. I know your desire to destroy lands has not been sated yet. So I'm gonna queue it back up for you all. Because I'm a man of the people, chat. You didn't win, but you made your opponent unhappy, and that's what's truly important. Oh, ain't that the God's honest? If that ain't the God's honest truth, I don't know what is. It's got sweet Slither sleeves. I should use these sleeves more. They're great. So we'd like to draw lands for the next 4 turns. We should put a land in our wish board for how often we need them. That's probably not a terrible idea, actually. Whew! Stuck the landing. Would Mind Stone be helpful? It's a good thought. Yeah, I like, because, like, that's a way we can, Mind Stone's a way we could get to our sweepers a turn sooner and not die against Scroll, maybe? Alright, well, I mean, like, as far as, like, non-land draws go, that was towards the top, right? I wish, upon a star. We need to get some cards going here. If we were gonna fit Mind Stone in here, what would we cut? Probably like Dawn of Hope, 2 Mirrormade, and an Ixalan's Binding. Or like Dawn of Hope, 1 Mirrormade, an Ixalan's Binding, and a Storm's Wrath. It's probably not unreasonable. I feel like one of these is a cheeky thing to copy this for cheap is probably fine. You put in Teferi. Teferi's probably worth playing too. Just play more good cards, right? Teferi bounces your Haphazard Bombardment too to like put it back down again. And it's pretty decent. Yeah, it's just straight good with Yorion as well. It's true. Teferi and Mind Stone both sound like good additions. Teferi flashes in your sweepers, too. Yeah, if you don't have fires, but if you have fires, you probably don't need that upside. Getting Birth going ASAP against Azcanta Vanguard sounds great. Stop tuning the bee, people are going to redonate for it, but I like money. Klothys, plenty scary here eventually, but for the time being, there's nothing in graveyard, so he can't exile. That'll change next turn, though. We'll see if they window to us here. If they window to us, we'll get to Shatter next turn, which is nice. I would love a Fires of Invention. Thank you for asking. I don't think I'm Clarioning this board. I think we're just going to Whirlwind. It means Birth gained them too instead of us. Is an interesting way to look at it. Idyllic Tutor. Yes, Idyllic Tutor could fetch Ixalan's Binding. And then, how do we feel about... It's a Haphazard Rubber. Do I just cast Yorion this turn? I think we cast Yorion. This gives me a good blocker for Adonto. How does Haphazard on Vanguard work again? It works the way we want it to. Just for reference. Yeah, Yorion blinking fires to cast something after is part of the reason why this deck's so good in Standard. Patreon, thanks for the tip. I appreciate it. For the good of chat, I'll burn my money for a red-white land destruction run back later. Do you want, like, this Jeskai again, or do you have a red-white variation you're going to submit? Yeah, they have to pay before the trigger resolves, is how it works. So they either pay for every turn, or eventually it dies. I think this needs to be a defensive bombardment. So I think we need to go pick you. And we'll start going after their white sources here. Spin to win. Spin to win. You love things you love to see, chat. Things you love to see. And I promise not to reduce their life total to 0, but I am going to give them a 4 here. Yes! I knew it, chat. I knew it. We're on the scoreboard. As far as I'm concerned, our deck's undefeated. We can just rewrite history and pretend that First League never happened. This hand's probably bad, right? Like, the colors of mana aren't great. There's no fires. There's no cheap sweeper. That sounds much better. Hey, Zenity, thanks for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome to HOOGLANDIA. Thanks for keeping me around. That's a little scary. Hey, good game, Zenity. Good luck in the rest of your constructed event. What is in their hand? They cycle the second fox instead of playing it? Are they like blue-white cycling? Oh, there's another tip. Jeskai worked. Sorry. No problems, Patreon. I appreciate the support. Named Yorion Sky Nomad. Clarion, my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are gone. I actually really don't think this card is very playable in this format. It might be playable alongside Kite Sail Freebooter in 4-color decks, 4-color humans, but without being able to look into their hand, it's just not good. Hey, I have a question for people that were paying attention. The judges that overturned and said Wisconsin needed to reopen, Did they conduct that ruling in person, or did they do it remotely, working safely from home? I didn't look and see if they... Did they do it, or is that for reals? They did it remotely. Of course they did. Red, white, Winota. Sounds good, Super Liam. Bars were packed in some areas last night too. It's gonna be... Maybe the scientists are wrong. Maybe things are gonna be okay a month from now. And the deciding vote was a judge that was voted out a few weeks ago. When do they lose their seat? When does the new person take over? Goodbye, friends. Yeah! Look at us flipping the blue sources here. Drooping Fig, thanks for the 2/3 of a year. Welcome back. Did the second round of stimulus checks get beaten? I have no idea. I haven't followed any of that, Mikey. Carafe, thanks for 11 months. If I'm being honest, I haven't been staying super on top of political stuff recently. It's draining, chat. Since the primary ended, and since I'm mostly not leaving my house anymore anyways, like, it's tough to keep up as much as it's exhausting. There's just too many hateful and stupid people out there. Yes, correct, Teneriel. So, if you play a second bombardment and then there's 5 things with counters on them, 2 of them will die next turn. Republicans promise to block all future stimulus unless they add a part to the bill making corporations not liable for worker safety or deaths from COVID. They're actually just cartoon villains. It's disgusting. Thanks for the 2/3 of a year, Revelry. Welcome back. Yeah, sadly, nothing's unbelievable anymore. There is a comic book where Lex Luthor became president. People are like, that would never happen. Yep. What was it, all the Simpsons timeline? MIQ shifted an hour. What does that mean, Maddie? It's starting an hour later? Or an hour earlier? Do you have a link to that? I'm planning to play that on Saturday. Named Deafening Clarion. That seems smart, because my thing lives through Clarion. I think I'm playing the untapped land here so I can cycle the Triome. At least in the comic books, the government made Lex give up LexCorp when he became president. Well, you know, comic books are works of fiction. You should understand they're nothing like real life. Absorb. Okay. Interesting. Was not expecting a counterspell there. In real life, the villains win more frequently. Ain't that the sad truth? Alright, so they're missing land drops. So let's just bombard them here. I think I'm gonna put one on the Fox here too, just so it doesn't kill me by mistake down the line. You love to see it, chat. You love to see it. So, like, there's a right play and there's a fun play here. Do I just copy the bombardment and kill two of their things? Or do I, like, Ixalan's binding the fox? I'm probably supposed to Ixalan's binding the fox, right? I probably win with the fun play still, though, so I'm gonna do that. Hey, Marcho, thanks for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome to HOOGLANDIA. Hope you're having a great Thursday wherever you're at in the world. They didn't want to play Magic with us anymore, chat. Come back. Come back. I wasn't done killing your lands. Wasn't done killing your lands, opponent. The Red Bull tournament for Saturday has broken 4,100 players on Magic Arena. What's the record for largest Grand Prix? It's in like the 6,000 range, right? Does anybody know offhand? What's the number? No, link to the Twitter post I just put up. Yep. I tweeted a picture of the Red Bull event and said maybe consider adding prizes past top 8 to this. I think it's right to bin the bombardment there and keep my guaranteed lands and fires. That's pretty good. Just like Grixis aggro. I'm watching for half a year now. Finally decided to subscribe again to show my support. Thanks for the 2 months, Gilbert. I appreciate that. Hope you're staying safe out there wherever you're at. That is a big, big dumb dino, chat. Bum ba dum bum 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 bum. Opponent's archetype's really sweet. If you haven't seen it before, it's one of the many historic decks that's up on my website. Played it a number of times on stream. Do you think Runa targets an historic? Not really, Mezzy. Well, poop. Interested in a cut after this. Always. Flash Rat. Yeah, love it. Slither Wisp is great. You forgot Drown Catacombs in your mana base, but I can add that. Yeah, that sounds fine. I can give it a quick once-over, Scholar. The mutate mechanic's a lot of fun. I wish it was a little bit more competitive than it was in Standard. You don't understand that block? Well, you see, I'm dead to this. We can't win. It doesn't matter. I'm playing Rakdos, Luris, aggro with the 77% win rate across. Yeah, I'm really interested to see what win rates look like when we get the ladder back. As someone who plays a lot of these historic constructed events, the average match quality can definitely vary pretty wildly in terms of people. Yeah, they're all over the place. There's a lot of really competitive decks, but there's also a lot of like random starter decks and other stuff too. In case there is any doubt in your mind that the current Trump administration is incredibly incompetent, in addition to being incredibly racist, listening to this person give testimony is kind of chilling. I think I'm probably better off keeping Double Sweeper here rather than Binding. Binding's like marginally better against Croxa if they get it out, but keeping the board in check's probably more ideal. Keeping 2 of these is also good in case they bring in, like, Duress post board. Hey, Scholar, thanks for the absurd tip. I appreciate it as always. I'm gonna play some blue-black Flash after this in Historic. Would you consider the Nyx Bloom Ancient if you came up with a playable list? Maybe, I don't know. Nyx Bloom Ancient is really more of an EDH card. In Standard and Historic and like these 60 card formats, or 80 card formats, depending on how you think about them, the effect that it's giving you is just like worse than other things. Like, it's just like, it's kind of just like a worse Nissa. Like, Nissa is the most... Nissa is the most direct comparison, like a card that provides similar RAM. Of course, Hawa. They made Biff the president. I feel like I know that name from somewhere, but who is Biff? It's a TV character, right? Back to the Future. Okay, right. Maybe I'm supposed to just play Yorion there. I don't know. I feel like trading my Storm's Wrath for their thing right away has value, though, because they have so much discard in their deck. Alright, we were appropriately dismantled there. Alright, we're 2-1 in this set. Can firmly stamp exceeds expectations on here. Let's see if we can get 1 or 2 more good ones in before we move along, shall we? Hey, Ramius. Good morning. No, I've rewritten history. The first league we owed to no longer exists. History is written by the victors, chat. I heard Bill Barr say that in an interview. When do the new historic cards come out? 1 week from today, the new historic anthology releases, and 9 days from today will be the third HOOGLANDIA Open in which those historic cards will be legal. Excited to see what Phyrexian Obliterators and Ulamog decks people come up with. We will probably make a point to feature in the first 2 to 3 rounds people who are leveraging cards from Historic Anthology 3. So if you've got a sweet Ulamog ramp deck or like Mono Black Devotion with Obliterator, probably have a little bit higher chance of getting on coverage to start. Of course I'm streaming HA3 release. I think I'm planning to... So I think my schedule for next week is I'm only going to take 1 day off during the week, and then I'm going to take the Sunday off after the Open. So I'm going to be live Thursday and Friday next week. I'm not going to take Friday off like I have been. I'm going to be live Thursday, Friday, and Thursday, Friday are going to be all historic days all day since we have new cards. And then Saturday obviously will be the Open Series. How is the 4-color Elementals deck? Much worse than Jeskai Luca. We played a Greed Mirror and we lost because you can't outgreed the Jeskai Luca deck. It is king of the castle. Will Friday be a shorter stream? I'll probably do 6 or 7 hours still. Yeah, I don't think our deck's probably very competitive against mono blue. I do have 4 Mystic Disputes in my sideboard I get to board in. But our deck is super clunky, so kind of a tough sell overall. I actually think Star of Extinction is probably better than some of these other things that don't interact with the board. Mono blue's a very good check for greedy decks like this in this format. Next week, Bob gets his bonus. Sounds good, Bob. As a heads up, on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I'm going to be doing some sponsored segments for Griftlands to end my streams. So we'll still be doing Magic in the mornings and early afternoon for each of those days, but I won't be able to extend extra Magic time on those 3 days specifically. But Thursday, Friday, if you've got new sweet ones to cut in, gonna be all historic all day. Yeah, they wanted me to do 3 2-hour segments. So we're gonna close the stream on Griftland Saturday, Sunday, Monday is the plan. It does both. I played a little bit of it, Corinne. In fact, I'm gonna play a little bit of it off stream so I can get more familiar with it before the sponsored segments. But yeah, there's communication thing aspect to it as well as battles similar to it's a roguelite similar to what's the popular one? Slay the Spire. God, this card is so annoying. Protection for multicolored is so good. My poor Clarion. We'll probably do this into this next turn. Maybe I should lead on Fires here actually as bait. Wow, that just happened? Deal. I think I'm actually just declining this. I think Fires isn't super useful at the moment, and I'd rather prioritize having access to more cards that actually impact the board. Anger would be nice in Standard, would it? Like, the aggro decks already struggle to be competitive against Clarion. Giving them a good tool to exile things doesn't sound great. Ah! Feeling lucky, punk. And by that I mean we're gonna get Brazen Borrowed. Well, shoot. Are we dead? Almost dead, not quite. Dead to Curious Obsession. Oh, yeah. All right, if I said that didn't go how I was expected to go, I'd probably be lying. So let's take a look at this deck and talk about some of its issues. The big issue with this is that we're a deck that has 1, 2, 3, 4 sweepers in it, and we still just kind of got dumpstered by aggro, which is not okay. And they were kind of good examples of why the aggro decks are good in this format. You can't just hope to play your sweeper on 4 and get away with it a lot of the time. We had a really good suggestion during that set that I think Mind Stone is super, super reasonable. I think getting to your sweepers a turn ahead of time, especially on the draws, a big deal. Yeah, I think I agree with that to a degree. I think if you're looking to do what this deck is doing, Star of Extinction's probably not something you really want. Not playing Teferi Time Raveler is almost assuredly a mistake as well. This is a card that's good against, counterspell decks and stuff like that. Yeah, fitting in some castles is a good idea. I almost fit some in, but I ended up not, like some of these basics could probably easily swap out for some castles. Like cut this, add a blue castle and a white castle maybe. It goes down 1 red source, but that's probably fine, right? We've got 21 red still. Something like that. Maybe trim stars. Maybe just like, if you want star, leave a star in your wish package. As opposed to having a bunch of clunky 7-drops in your main deck. Any rate, it was fun. Decks like this, like, you know, we often talk about, like, are we looking to be competitive as possible? Are we looking to do the thing? We got to Haphazard Bombardment and blow a bunch of lands up, which is, well, ultimately the goal of the deck. So I consider the set, in general, a success, but these are some things that I think you would want to do if you wanted to try and make the deck a little bit more competitive while still sticking on your theme. I think this is probably what I do, and then add the castles. Probably something like this. This is a do the thing deck, not a we're trying to be a spike deck.
Alright, so these deck lists are going to be quite a bit different again. This is very much of a best of 3 scenario, so he pretty much had to construct a sideboard that would still make Fae of Wishes somewhat viable in the deck at all whatsoever. So as you can see in we pretty much just need to go to his deck because that's what all the changes are from. So what he recommended is using Mind Stone, and his reasoning for it is that Mind Stone, it ramps you into your 4-mana spells earlier, so you can get your Fires of Intervention on turn 3, you can get your Shatter the Sky on turn 3, so you don't have to force a Clarion. You can always also use Shatter the Sky or Storm's Wrath if you have a Mind Stone out, which I do actually like that. Birth of Meletis is also good ramp, but it doesn't actually put the land into play, so I get where he's coming from on that. We ended up going down 1 Mirrormade. It's just kind of one of those cheeky things that we added in there, so it's just like a whatever. We're able to copy whatever we want that's on the battlefield. Idyllic Tutor, we still have 2 of those in the main deck, just to find any of the enchantments that we need, which normally we would use it on Whirlwind of Thought or Haphazard Bombardment for the most part. Cut down a couple Ixalan's bindings. That I still don't know if I agree with, but again, I mean, he's a professional, so I'll definitely have to mess around with that. So that will be interesting. Ended up taking out the Star of Extinctions and throwing in 4 Teferi Time Ravelers, which we kind of expected, simply to the sheer point you're running white-blue and you're giving it to a professional Magic player, somebody who was essentially a professional Magic player. They're going to put Teferi Time Raveler in it just because you can't not play Teferi. So that's kind of annoying, but there's no real way around that. But that's pretty much all the changes for main board. For the lands, he did add a lot more dual lands. I had a lot of just like basic lands. I had a lot more mountains and plains, especially plains, because we're running Birth of Meletis. Jeff ended up going down to just 4 lands, even though we have 4 Meletises and only 4 plains. I think that's risky, but at the same time, it's an 80-card deck, so the chances of getting a plains are still relatively low, but I think I would probably bump that up to 5 if it becomes a problem. It's one of those possibility things. But yeah, we only have 1 island and 1 mountain as far as I had like 5 or 6. So I went a little bit lighter on the dual lands because I wasn't quite sure if we needed all of the dual lands. They are nice though, so I'll have to give that a try. I don't usually have any problems with mana curve on here, so I'm not too worried about it. As far as sideboard, he kept in the Gravedigger's Cage. He took out the Soul Guide Lantern. Kind of see it on there. There you go. So he took out the Lantern, took out the Heliod's Intervention, and took out the Dawn of Hope. I guess he's not a big fan of Dawn of Hope because he also took it out of main board. He left in the Virulent Plague because that's the biggest way, outside of destroying the land, that is the biggest way to get out of Field of the dead. Added in 4 Mystical Disputes and 2 Dovin's Vetoes. So basically, you just have to have counterspells in the deck, or else they're just gonna flood your board. And again, this is all best of 3 stuff, so it's not quite the same because it's a different meta. Outside of that, Uninspired Ultimatum, Cleansing Nova, everything's pretty much the same. But it was really interesting to get it at a perspective of best of 3. It was definitely odd to see, but he did have a good time with it, and that's all I can really say. I would be interested to see how much he likes it, or how better he performs after his changes. I would be very interested to see that, but we'll see. We'll see. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, or something. If you guys like the content, just let me know. Put it down in the links. Put it down in the comments section below. Let me know who you want to see in the next episode. Again, we do one every single week. Any medium size, small, large streamer, just let me know who. As long as they play historic, it's good. Yo, what up, YouTube? Yeah, we going here, Strider. Come on. You didn't really think that I was that type of person, did you? Thank you everyone so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you were even a little bit entertained by this video, please make sure to let me know down below. And if you have anything that you would like to see next, go ahead and leave that there too. And make sure to check out my live stream 5 days a week, every day except Sunday and Thursday. Stream times down below.